Hello everyone, and welcome to the world of resistance bands. Resistance bands are extremely versatile. Any exercise that you can do with free weights can be recreated with resistance bands. And with today's day and age, with quarantines and lockdowns and gym closures, this is the perfect solution. Resistance bands have been underappreciated. A lot of people just think they're for girls or they're for athletes warming up before they actually perform, but it's really not the case. It's all up to the user. If you know what you're doing, you could do 300-400 different exercises with this. So today I'm going to give you a basic tutorial on how to use them. I'm holding the bands, which are foam rubber over plastic, and then you have the connecting bands, which connect to either an O-ring in this case, or in most cases a D-ring, carabiners, and the actual resistance band itself. Now this particular type of band is referred to as tube bands. Some people call them handle bands. I just call them resistance bands because that's what I use 95% of the time. Okay, you're not going to be able to see the bottom of this, but if you just listen to me, you'll be okay. I'm stepping on the bottom of the band about halfway across my foot. My legs are shoulder width, my knees are slightly bent, and the most common exercise you're going to see is the bicep curl. But there's so many more that you can do from this position or similar positions. Now I am going to give you a little disclaimer here. Even though these bands are designed to stretch, they will lose their elasticity over time and therefore lose the resistance level. Also, if they stretch too far, they can snap. I've had, in the last 5 years, maybe 24 bands snap on me. So for certain moves, I don't recommend that you do them from a standing position. I'm going to grab a chair right here. For example, if you were to do an overhead press, I would probably say 90% of the band breaks I have happened to me over the years have been done with standing overhead press. So after a while, I started to get a little wise, and I do it from a chair. You can do it from your knees if you wish as well. There's so much that you can do with it. So what if this band is not heavy enough for you? Well, of course, you can add another band or switch to a heavier band depending on how heavy you want to go. But there are a couple little tricks too. For example, widening the width of your feet will add more resistance. Or grabbing lower on the bands will increase the resistance. And there's a lot of little tricks like this I'll teach you along the way. It's very important that you make use of all the tools that are available to you. And the most important tool I'll talk about in the next clip, the anchor. This is the tool that I use most often when using resistance bands. It's called the anchor, and I'll give you a closer look. In this case, it's a foam rubber cylinder. It might be a square. It could be any shape. It doesn't really matter. It does have a band attached to it with a big loop. Now, the premise of this is that you're going to put it over your door, on the side of your door, or under your door, and that can increase the amount of exercises you can do easily threefold, probably more. The most common is putting it over the top. So watch how I do it. I'm going to put the ball side over the top of the door, and I'm going to have this side dangling on my side of the door. And then I will tuck the band through it. I hope you can see it. I'm going to do my best to do this without a camera person. Okay, so here's the roller side. I'm putting that over the top of the door. I'm closing the door. Always lock the door for safety. And I'm going to take my band, put it through the loop. You want to make sure that both handles are pretty much even. And now here you have it on top. So what can you do with it? You can do a whole bunch of things. You can do decline presses. You can do lateral presses. And you can either do this standing, you could do it on your knees or sitting on your butt, whichever works best with your resistance. Remember, you can increase the tension by grabbing lower, spreading your feet a little bit. Well, that actually wouldn't work here. I take that back. You can step back a little. I would not take more than one step back. I see people with these stretched like 8 feet in front of them, and then when it snaps, oh, this is a bad product. No, you didn't use it properly. You can also do tricep pushdowns. You can do standing ab crunches. You can do them on your knees as well. There's just so much you can do. Moving it to the side. Stubborn door, but I got it. You can do your standard, make sure they're not tangled. There we go. Sorry about that. You can do your standard bench press. You could do standing rows to the back. You can work your obliques. And really, I'm just scratching the surface. There's hundreds of exercises that you can do. As we go further into this series, you'll see much more of the versatility of these resistance bands. And the last thing I want to discuss in this section is putting it underneath the door, which is also much more versatile than you'd give it credit for. You could do bicep curls from this angle if you want. If you put them over your forearms, you can do calf raises, and you can even do shrugs. There's just so much that you can do. You could do decline flies. And again, I'm just scratching the surface. There's so much that you can do with resistance bands. So I hope you follow along with this series. If you have any questions, leave it in the message area. I'll be happy to assist you in any way I can. Please subscribe to this channel, like, comment, and share with your friends. See you next time.